Dance with me.
Dance.
I got my red sticks. I'm a drummer too. Oh, look at them go.
Welcome to the Creativity Show. A live hour, let it flow. Unscripted words in a velvet ring. Savvy minds on the line they bring. Producer and host in the glow.
That's me. Radio Red, let's go.
Tell me what it is that sparks your fire. What keeps you moving higher and higher? The Creativity Show.
There we go. Welcome. Well, we have a lively group. I have to give out dancing awards. By the way, everybody, it used to be Read My Lips, and then it was the Creative Spark Show, and now it's Creative People Roundtable, because I wanted people to know that Jim and Carol and Julie are humans. You're not avatars, last I checked. I think you're real. So you're now Creative People Roundtable. Officially, you put that in your signature. I'm akaRadioRed, and there's nowhere I would rather be on a Monday afternoon here in severe storm weather, not Sevierville, Tennessee. Happy to be here, and it was a beautiful day. This is where we talk about creativity. We talk about what's unique to our styles, our methods, and what we share, what's in common. And we do a lot of discovering here on the show. We talk about bold ideas, real inspiration, cool conversations. What can I tell you? So I'm going to do a special introduction. And first of all, I have to tell all of you it's a special birthday today. Carol and Jim and Julie, I want you all to say happy birthday to Robert De Niro. He's 83 today. That's a
Happy
milestone.
birthday, Robert.
There you go. I'll tell him you said so. Sean Penn.
The man.
Sean Penn is 66 today. Belinda Carlisle from the Go-Go's is 68. Donnie Wahlberg from Blue Bloods, Boston Blue. And do you know that New Kids on the Block is making a comeback in Las Vegas? Every time I go on Facebook, there's pictures of them in their sparkles and dancing and jumping all over the stage. They're not kids anymore. They're not. Well, they think they think they're still kids, Carol, but I'm not so sure. Anyway, Donnie Wahlberg is 57 today, and if anybody heard of somebody who used to have a coonskin hat, his name was Davy Crockett. He was born today in 1786, and it's Vanilla Custard Day. I want you all to know that. I'm sure it's going to enrich your lives a lot. So let me get started. Here's the real show at the Creativity People. Creativity People Roundtable, Unforgettable Stories Take Flight. akaRadioRed on her Scarlet mic is live streaming bright. The turning points of creativity are our spotlight today. Courage, curiosity, and resilience are marking the way. When I call your name, wave. Julie Rott is here. James S. Russell is here. Jim, wave hello. Carol S. Hosler is here. They're joining to share how creativity shaped their journeys with purpose and with care. We'll hear their bold ideas, we'll have cool conversations, and we'll hear inspiration that's real. And you, our viewers and listeners, may discover what your own creativity may reveal. And now I have a gift for each of you, and Julie, you're up first. So, Julie saw her childhood through a magical Disneyland lens view, finding magic beneath her birch tree while hidden storms were swirling too. With music, Jim, you got to be quiet. I'm talking here because we can hear you, okay? Finding magic behind her birch tree while hidden storms were swirling too. With music, writing, art, and storytelling already calling her name, Julie, Julie, she studied special effects makeup, then pursued entertainment and creative fame. From Miami to Los Angeles and New York, new possibilities came into view until losing her mother brought a painful turning point Julie had to journey through. Back in Michigan, raising 3 children, she kept creativity close to her heart. Through family, music, wellness, and horses, she found new ways to make a fresh start. Then divorce, spinal surgery, and empty nest brought questions anew, inspiring Julie's memoir and a brand asking what life's chapters mean to you. Today, through Was It Worth It?, Julie shares the wisdom life has taught, finding growth and gratitude in each turning point that creativity has brought. Julie, welcome. I hope you enjoyed that.
I really did. Thank you so much. It was
You're
beautiful.
welcome. Now you know why I asked for the origin story. Jim, you're up next. Jim grew up in Peoria, changing tires while earning math grades of A, a swimmer and lifeguard seeking dad's approval as he found his own way. At Albion College, Jim set swimming records and earned Hall of Fame acclaim. Then an MBA from Michigan helped launch an accomplished business game. From selling computer systems at IBM to improving labor management ties, he earned Muskegon's Outstanding Young Man honor as his leadership began to rise. A Michigan State PhD led to teaching management, then serving as an Oregon College dean before retirement with his wife Karen brought community service to their Wenatchee scene. When daughter Lynn faced early Alzheimer's, Jim became an advocate for her care. And after losing Karen, a family and friends love team surrounded them there. James' memoir, Best Dad in the Galaxy, She Said It, honors Lynn in a special way. His creative model brings the love team's caring to help other families today. Jim, I hope you like that. I see it. I see it. Good. We'll hold up the book in a minute. Thank you. And you're going to hold it right under your face because you're disappearing. And Carol, you're next, and I hope you like this. Carol grew up in southern Idaho, one of 6 children filling the family home. With a twin brother and books for companions, her imagination learned to roam. The Bobbsey twins felt familiar. Me too. While reading became a lifelong delight. Then a high school English teacher helped Carol recognize her gift was to write. At Linfield College, she earned her English degree, working summers along the way, then headed east to seminary, following a calling that would stay. In 1970, her church did not yet ordain women, but Carol continued to find her voice. Through award-winning journalism and local government, she created her own choice. Finally ordained an Episcopal priest in 1994, Carol and her husband served side by side. Then retirement brought colored pencil painting and memoir writing in her own creative stride. After loss brought Carol to Seattle, new chapters with Jim Russell came into view. Now art, writing, service, and caregiving keep Carol's creativity feeling new. Carol, I hope you like that.
I did. Thank you. Very nice.
You're very welcome. So here, show's over. So gather around where the cool kids and the cool vibes sway as we go through wonderful presenting. We share wonderful creativity today. akaRadioRed's energy lights the way. We hope to inspire you to live large, love life, and play. So kids, how did I do? What'd you think?
I loved it.
Amazing.
I like hers too.
You're going to stay? You're going to stick around? You're going to stay
I'm
with
gonna
me?
stick
Okay.
around.
Good. Okay. We're going to do a shout out to Jordan Henson, who was with us getting us. He's our engineer for the Voice America Media Empowerment channel today. And I've got us on live streaming on 2 YouTube channels, 2 Facebook channels, and LinkedIn. There we go. So what I'd like to do is go around and learn a little bit more about you. So Julie, I'm putting you on speaker view. I'd like you to hold up the cover of your book. It's not out yet. And I'd like you to tell us a little more about your book. And I'm going to put you on speaker view right now. Take about 3 minutes, and then we'll go on to Carol and Jim. So Julie, welcome. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. This is my memoir, my first memoir, and it's called Was It Worth It? For about 2 years, I asked for my divorce after 19 years to a man that I deeply, deeply loved. So it was a very, very hard decision. And I laid in bed for almost 2 years, staring at the ceiling in increments, asking myself, was it worth it? And then it made me ponder and go back through all the major choices in my life from childhood all the way up until, 50 some years old. And it really made me appreciate the woman that I was through every one of those stages. Made me look back and kind of surprise myself a little bit about the person that I showed up to be during those times. And then it made me really reflect on where do I want to go from here? Being an empty nester, all my kids, my last child had left. They weren't even living in Michigan, someone living in other states and other countries. And it really made me sit with myself and start listening to those quiet thoughts at night. Because those are the thoughts and those are the things that shape our lives.
Very, very nice. And how did you come up with that? I know it's your brand, it's your title. Was it worth it? It's something that a lot of us say in the normal course of conversation, right, Julie? But what made you think that would be? I like it. I'm complimenting you on it, but what made
Thank
you
you.
think that it would be something that people would say, yeah, I ask myself that all the time. It's an interesting title. Just tell me a little bit
It,
about how you picked it. Go ahead.
it was the same question that just over and over was repetitive in my mind, morning, noon, and night. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? I could have stayed married. We loved each other very much. We could have figured out a way to make it work, but it wasn't true to either one of us. And I love myself more than to live a lie, so to speak. And as that question kept arising and I kept asking myself, was it worth it? I would go through all these moments, be like, yeah, that was worth it. No, that wasn't worth it. And then as I started talking to people, I realized that it made them ponder. It made them reflect on the choices that they've made in their life. And then it realized, well, this is a little bit bigger than just me lying in bed at night, asking myself, was it worth it? It pertains to everybody because they say not to look in the rearview mirror, but sometimes we have to look where we've been to know exactly where we want to go. And more importantly, where we don't want to go.
And where we don't want to stay, right? Where we don't
1000%.
want to stay.
Yes.
One of the ways to get people to open up is to ask a question, not a yes or no question, but
No.
a question that ponders a little bit more deeply. So you did that. Julie, I like
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so much. And when is the book coming out?
Late September.
Okay, that's not so far away. It's already the
Not so far away.
17th of August. Carol is cheering you
Yes.
on already. I saw that thumbs up,
Thank
Carol.
you, Carol.
Now, we have a little bit of a challenge here. We tried to get Carol and Jim in separate rooms, and we had a little technical issue there, and Carol was frozen, and we don't want her frozen. We want her all warmed up for a great discussion here. So I'm going to put the both of you on speaker view, but I'd like you to go first, Jim, because you're in my speaker order that way. And I'd like you to tell us a little more about your book. You can hold it up, hold it right under your chin, because you don't have a green screen, and it disappears. That's it. I'm putting you on speaker view with Carol, and then Carol will go next to you. Right under your chin, Jim. Right under
I
your
got hit reaching.
That's it. Okay, Jim, why don't you talk? Tell us a little more about the book.
Best Day in the Galaxy. The book started basically when my daughter was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at the age of 51 and three teenage sons and divorcee. And she looked at me with my wife sitting right beside me just after we'd been to the neurologist. She had advanced early onset Alzheimer's. And she said, Dad, I'm going to be happy. And I knew that wasn't going to be true because I took care of my mother for a number of years where she had Alzheimer's. And I know what Alzheimer's did to her, was going to do to her. And all I could think of saying, well, then I'm going to write your story. So I committed to writing her story. So that meant I had to do the journaling and everything else. And so as we began to go on, it got more and more complicated because the boys were there. They were taking care of her. Friends of hers were helping take care of her. And I realized I didn't really have to be this caregiver all the time. I could be stepping back saying, organizing things, which I could do because I was a manager with experience, et cetera. And so Karen was kind of the lead on that. And then Karen got cancer and died in an 8-month period. And so I lost her. Then suddenly I was in charge of the whole thing. And I just had to commit to doing that. Again, the people stepped up that were involved with that. And I got an apartment close by, 2 blocks away from her. And so many people were helping me that I realized what I could do is start coordinating what they were doing for her. And so we posted information. We began to recruit people. They started they were taking care of me. They were bringing things for me. So the more I did that, the more comfortable I got. And she had more visitors than anybody else. She was more alive. And then COVID hit, and that really hit and caused her isolation. And when she had the isolation, her cognitive abilities dropped dramatically, or mood. It was serious drop off in abilities. So then I got cancer with prostate cancer, which disabled me, and so I had to take that and make sure I was okay. Then the next thing I knew, they were telling me that Lynn was going to go on hospice, and she's not ready to go on hospice. And so that really shook me up, and I decided I had to find some way of living after that. I thought I'd need 2 years to learn how to date. I've been married for 55 years. I didn't know how to date it. Good friend of mine said, well, what you have to do, and this was a woman who was taking care of me and my daughter, she says, just go on and watch Grace and Frankie all the time, and they'll tell you exactly how to live after the age of 70. And it was absolutely true. So I watched that every week, once a week. So that was my way to get through that day. So then, is it taking too long? No. So then but went online and told everybody about that, posted it, and the next thing I know, this woman said, I like your profile. And so
And she's sitting
well,
next to
I
you
think I've
right
got to
there.
my 3 minutes, right?
No, I want to finish. She said, I like your profile. I read that part of your book. Just tell us a little bit more and then we'll get Carol. Go ahead.
Okay, well, when I said she liked her profile, I thought, well, that's probably nice, but she must have, I looked at her, we checked. She's a good writer, so I was kind of intrigued by her, but I hadn't seen her picture, hadn't seen anything else. And then after about 3 or 4 days of talking, and she writes back and says, I like your quote from Micah. Whoa, because I put in my book, in my posting, that how would I like to be remembered? He was a man who did justice, loved mercy, and walked humbly with his God. But I didn't say it was from Micah. I just said that was it. I got that out of the Bible when I was about 37. And the next thing I know is I write back and said, wow, no other person in the 8 months I'd been online had even said one word about it, which I thought was the most important part of my life. She said it. So I kind of looked at her profile a little bit, sent it back, and I said, she went back and said, I like the quote from Micah. She knew it was from Micah.
She knew it from, and
Read the
that's a
Bible.
perfect part for us to switch over to Carol. All right,
Okay.
you hold that thought. That was a great intro. I don't usually do a tag team with a couple on the same camera, but this is going to be fun. Carol, okay, let's take up, if you don't mind, let's take it from you were online. What were your expectations, and how did you find Jim's listing, his post? Go ahead, tell us.
Sure. I went online. I was in the senior living campus, and I said to my best friend, I wonder what it would be like to be with a man. And I heard myself say that a man again, because I was married 50 years. And finally, I thought, well, I guess I really am curious about that. And that night on TV, an ad for OurTime.com came on. And so, okay, I will. So I posted, and the last thing that I would post would be that I was an Episcopal priest. I mean, that would be a way to kill any opportunities, right? So I talked about traveling, work I'd done with my college roommate in Cameroon. I talked about, one of the questions was, tell about a time you got in trouble. So I wrote how I got arrested in the Pentagon in 1969 for demonstrating against the Vietnam War. And all of this was to make sure that he got the true picture of where I was coming from. So yeah, that's what he saw. And it wasn't until maybe 3 or 4 phone calls when I realized that I was really liking, we hadn't met in person yet. We Zoomed. But
You picked me up on Facebook.
yeah. Oh yeah, I read all of his Facebook. That's how I knew he was the real thing,
I was posting about my daughter. That's where it came from.
You weren't stalking him. You were just looking for information, right, Carol?
That's right. I had to make sure he wasn't.
I knew.
I had to make sure he was a real person.
I swear
Thank
I
you,
saw him
Julie.
outside my apartment door one day, but she said, no.
Except I was in Arizona. No.
I'm intrigued. I went to a full gallery group view here because I wanted Julie smiling here on the picture. I'm intrigued that you picked Grace and Frankie because I watched that show. I was an avid fan. I loved it season to season to season, and I never would have thought of that as a dating instruction show.
I didn't pick it. I didn't pick it.
Your friend told
Remember I told you that everybody was taking care of me?
Yeah.
In a love team, they take care of the caregiver too. I told her that she says, I want to call you dad. I said, okay, I kind of think of you as my daughter. And I said, well, I'm thinking about dating, but I don't know anything about it. She said, watch Grace and Frankie. Yes, ma'am.
So when he told me that, I said, what episode are you on? And he said, season 3, episode 5 or something like that. And so I binge watched it and just died laughing every single episode. So when we met for our first date, we could tell about the lunch we had. But before I forget my train of thought, I invited him back to my apartment to watch Grace and Frankie. And he said, well, what episode are you on?
I had to do that for you. Go ahead. That was for Grace and Frankie. I have sound effects too. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
absolutely. They deserved it.
Go ahead.
So he asked me what episode I'm on, and I said, well, season 3, episode 5. And he could not believe I'd binge watched
I
it.
thought, So she said, let's go back to watch Grace and Frankie. And I thought,
Oh, yeah. And And
Don't
now I'm
forget,
putting
read
you two
everything
back
about
on.
me. I've got.
And
I'm
you
putting
know,
you back on speaker view. I want to watch this. Go ahead.
one of the things that was so important for me that I learned from watching Grace and Frankie was, and that he liked it, was that he was so lighthearted and could laugh about sex and laugh about anything. You know, it's important to me that life is to be spent in a lighthearted way. So lighthearted way. Yeah.
You two are quite a surprise. You really are.
Well, you
I
see,
did.
and the reason I got more interested is the third. She said to me, "By the way, I've a retired Episcopal priest." She hadn't put that in there. What? I pictured her right in front of St. Mark's Cathedral in a robe and everything else. And I thought, I'm writing my book. The two of us could talk together. We'd go to more organizations. I invited her to join me. I said, I'm going to be traveling around on my book. She said, I like to travel. So, okay, well, maybe we could jointly present about Alzheimer's. You'd have to learn about Alzheimer's but spiritual and religious care for people with Alzheimer's. I didn't have that part. So I said, we could do that together. You know how long it took her to say I'm all in? 5 seconds. And the
Love that.
reason was, I says, you're more and more forthcoming, tending towards irrepressible and irresistible.
Oh, listen, you two need to write a dating book for goodness sake. This is for any age.
There's help out there for all of us.
Yeah, I've been persuaded to write it. So my book's going to be called Irresistible and Irrepressible. He Said It.
Wow. And then we have this series. She said it, he said it, and then we got to. Oh,
I don't know if we can say this about you, but Frankie Boyer told her to write the book. You know Frankie Boyer. And
yes. Yes.
She said to Carol, you have to write that love book.
There you go. There you go. Well, akaRadioRed said the same thing. So, you're in good company
That's
there.
true.
You've been sanctioned. That's good. I have to tell everybody, I met these three charming, irresistibly charming and interesting people at the National Publicity Summit. And I had no idea that you were all going to be like this. And I am delighted. I didn't think from reading your profiles, I didn't think we were going to be spending the first 15 minutes, 25 minutes of the show laughing like this. So forgive me, but this is really fun. So, wow, we've already derailed the show completely, but let's see if we can get back to my yes. And I'm actually glad the two of you are sitting side by side because I'm enjoying watching you looking at each other and the glances and the smiles. This is, yeah, you've broken the mold of my show completely. It's the Jim and Carol show, and Julie and I are just here to watch. This is great. I want you to. Okay, kids, let's get back on track here. I'm going to go to the part of the show where I've asked you each to send me a fictional quote from a song or a movie or a TV show. And we're just going to do this real quickly because I want to get to the creativity part where we're going to do a real roundtable. So, Julie has picked a quote from Ben Whitaker, played by, did you know it was De Niro's birthday? You did.
I did not know.
You didn't know? It's De Niro's birthday and you picked a De Niro quote.
I know.
A month ago, you picked. Oh,
I know,
Julie.
I did not know.
Oh, Julie, this is getting good and better and frightening at the same time. Okay, so she has picked a quote from Ben Whitaker, played by Robert De Niro. The movie was The Intern, 2015 comedy drama. And Ben Whitaker uses this exact phrase, I'm going to read this in a minute, during his video cover letter for a senior intern position. He is referencing a famous quote originally attributed to Louis Armstrong, interestingly enough. Okay, The Intern was released in 2025. Here's the plot. I don't know if you saw it, Jim and Carol. The Intern, a 70-year-old widower, Ben Whitaker, a retired executive from Dex to EX1, finds himself bored with retirement. Duh. He applies to fill the newly created position of senior intern at About the Fit, a fast-growing e-commerce fashion startup in Brooklyn. He impresses everyone. He's assigned to work with Anne Hathaway, who is, from Devil Wears Prada and all that. She's the CEO, and she's skeptical. And anyway, blah, blah, blah. It's a great story. So here is the quote that you have selected, Julie, and I've added a little more from the actual movie clip. So I'll tell you when the part comes. He says, I read once, musicians don't retire. That's what Julie said. They stop when there's no more music in them. And he says, Well, I still have music in me. Absolutely positive about that. And I think that quote, not only for Julie, but I think Carol and Jim are not. Yes, yes, yes. Julie, I think that's the quote of the month. But Julie, I'm putting you back on speaker view. Tell us why you picked it, please. Go ahead.
Well, Nancy Meyer's one of my favorite writer and directors, so I love her movies. So when I watched The Intern, it was like, oh, it was so heartwarming, and I love Robert De Niro. And when he is on that his little iPad doing his little interview, and he says that, it was like it hit me so hard. I felt it in my underneath my skin and running through my veins, and I'm like, ah, it's the music of life, right? And the song doesn't end, and the albums don't stop until the music does, until we have nothing left inside of us. I said, and that's how I feel with life. I still have so much more. It's a new chapter, new beginnings, but yet there's so much music left in me.
I love that. And there's a beautiful song by Patty Austin and James Ingram, a duet called How Do You Keep the Music
How do you
Playing?
playing? Yes,
I cry every
know
time I
that.
play that song. How do you
Love
keep
that
the
song. The
music
music
playing?
playing.
Yes, and
How do
Jim and
you?
Carol, you've all, yeah, we've
Right.
all, I think
Oh
we've all
yeah.
tried to figure that one out, and some of us have. Some of us, the music is still playing. Let's go. Thank you, Julie. Jim has picked a
Thank you.
quote from Scaramouche, a 1952 romantic swashbuckler film loosely based on Raphael Sabatini's 1921 novel and the 1923 film version starring Ramon Navarro. I don't think anybody's around who remembers that. It was also in a 1923 silent film. The phrase was featured as the first text. They call it intertitle to introduce the main character played in that movie by Raymond Navarro. Okay, famous people were in the movie: Stuart Granger, Eleanor Parker, Janet Leigh. Remember? Yes. Mel Ferrar. Oh, so many people. It was filmed in Technicolor. It was an MGM production. Okay, so here is the quote that Jim has selected, and this is lovely. He was born with a gift of laughter and a sense that the world was mad. Jim, another fabulous quote. Go ahead and tell us how you picked this one. Go ahead.
Well, I like the quote from the beginning because I knew the madness that he was talking about is not the kind of people being angry and things. And I read the book before I saw the movie. And then, of course, you wrote back to me and said, that's not a quote in the book. And I saw, so we found the movie, and then I watched the movie. I said, well, wait a minute, the movie's not the book. But I took the Scaramouche because it had to do with a man who was highly principled, skilled, worked, cared for people, was interested in justice. So it just fit my whole feeling of the do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with my God. As you know, in the end of the movie, he doesn't kill his opponent, which he could have, but he mercifully let him go. So I just thought that was a style that I could enjoy because I've got a sense of humor, and I really want to make sure that I'm on the side of granting mercy and justice at the same time.
Very well chosen. Very well. Carol, it's your turn now. Carol has picked a classic quote. I get this from about 100, no, about 5 people a year pick this. And it's something that are words to live by. And I have used this just in parlance, in conversations. Master Yoda, played, of course, voiced by Frank Oz, to Luke, played by Mark Hamill, Star Wars Episode V. That's 5 in Roman numerals. If anybody didn't get that lesson, I don't know if they teach Roman numerals anymore. The Empire Strikes Back, 1980. Epic space opera. I still haven't figured out what a space opera is. Space opera film. It's the first one in the trilogy, and it's Yoda's most memorable quote in all of Star Wars, based on a story by George Lucas, produced by Lucasfilm. Oh, it's the second film in the Star Wars film series, 5th chronologically, sequel to Star Wars, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's get to the quote. And Carol, you're going to tell us why you picked this. Do or do not. There is no try. Hello. Love this. Carol, tell me more.
Well, I started watching Star Wars when my 2 boys were like 3 and 5 and watched all of them through their growing up years. Love Yoda, love Yoda. So I picked it because all of those years when I couldn't be ordained, I had to do something else. And I wasn't trained for anything else. So I had to fake it till I made it in a number of really great variety of mini careers. From being a journalist, I knew I could write, but I'd never been a reporter.
Award-winning journalist.
Being a columnist, award-winning columnist. being a museum director. I'd never been a museum director. I have no anthropology or archaeology background, but that's not what they wanted. They wanted somebody with the communication skills and so on. So I couldn't try. I had to just do it.
And write grants for millions of dollars.
Write grants, several millions of dollars in grants, right? So there wasn't any time to see if I could try to do something. I just had to plunge in and do it if I was going to have a job in the small towns where we lived. So that's why I chose it.
Thank you very much. And the reason I use it for myself a lot is the light switch, unless you have a dimmer, the light is either on or off. Having the light off is a choice. I'm going to try to you either put the light on or you don't. If you don't want to do something, you don't do it. That's your choice. Do or do not. There is no try. It's one way or another. I'm going to try. Well, are you going to or not? And I like that. Congratulations to the three of you, or bravo. Thank you for picking really, really good quotes. I am really liking having Carol and Jim on the same screen. I fight having couples on the same screen, but it really works for the two of you. This is very, very, I'm not going to cry, but I just started to. My son always times me. We have a FaceTime call every Sunday for years and years now. And he always counts how many seconds before I find a reason to cry. I love my kids. Okay, we'll talk about that after the show. Let's go to the creativity statements. Julie, you sent me so many. I'm having trouble picking one, but I'm going to pick the one I think is very, very interesting. You say, number 3, I'll read it. You don't have to find it. I write in several ways depending on the project. Some ideas begin in a journal. Others arrive through voice notes or dictation and eventually find their way onto a keyboard. My memoir was born from life experiences. My cookbook, combines storytelling, wellness, hospitality, and recipes that connect people through food. Whether I'm writing a song lyric, a chapter, or a business concept, I start with emotion and purpose before focusing on structure. And you say your most creative hours are between 4 and 8 in the morning when there's stillness. Okay, Julie, why don't you unpack this a little bit and then we see what Carol and Jim have to say about whether it resonates with them. So, Julie, I'm putting you back on speaker view. Take about 2 minutes and tell us, and then we'll go to our couple of the day here. Go ahead, Julie.
So I believe everybody has a rhythm to them. And sometimes people are early morning risers. Some people function better during the day or at night. I'm an early morning riser. I've woken up early in the morning my whole life, 4:30 in the morning. And I usually have ideas spinning. I don't just wake up with no thoughts or constantly going. And so that time is I just start journaling, just start writing down random thoughts, or I'll put it in my phone real quick so I don't lose them and forget them. And that happens to me every morning. And for so many years, you're like, oh, enough. And you don't, you're like, you kind of just shove it off. Well, these ideas and like this cookbook and the cafe, I have an organic cafe at an international horse show that I started 2 years ago. Wanted to do this for 10, 15 years. So I started through this asking myself, was it worth it? You know what? I'm going to start saying yes to every idea I've ever had that I've ever wanted to do my whole life. And so I started with the cafe, wrote my memoir. Now I'm working on my cookbook, and I have my website's going to be live as well with my book next month. And it's just a wellness lifestyle. There's t-shirts, there's sweatshirts, just fun stuff. And then there I can tell stories and get to connect with people. And it's just, for me, when the iron is hot, even if it's 2 a.m, just get up and jot it down so we don't forget it. Because those little seeds, those are the quiet moments I talk about in my book as well, and those quiet thoughts. And those seeds that come in, those are the ones that create our lives. And if we don't say yes, you either do or you don't, right? There's no halfway.
You tied it too. And I have a quote from a famous musician for you that's going to echo exactly what you said. But let's go to Carol, you first. Thoughts about time of the morning when you write, when you're feeling most productive creatively, and or do you journal? What do you do, Carol?
I am so jealous of Julie for her discipline. I have a stack of journals this high that I started in college, but there are whole years of gaps in it. Weeks of gaps, years of gaps. And so I'm not a very disciplined person. I don't write regularly now that I have promised I will write the story of our love. I have, but in the meantime, my kids want me to keep the Storyworth thing. Every week I write a response, do that for my boys. I'm not disciplined. I don't have a regular time.
Interesting.
I do like that 6 a.m. time, not 4 o'clock. Julie, you can have the 4 o'clock. I'm just asleep. But 6 o'clock's a really good time.
That's a human time to wake up, right? That's yes.
Yeah.
I have a story to tell Julie after Jim. Jim, what do you think? When are you writing and what's your do you dictate? Do you journal? I know you journal, but what are you doing these days, Jim?
But what I'm doing now is we're working on the things that complement the book, and that's one of the love team. I don't know if we showed you that yet, but what I have in my mind is some idea that's ticking at me. It's pushing me. It's pricking me. It's saying something. It's not working right. It's not the way I like it. So I just think about it, and I think about it, and I think about it, and it just goes over and over and over. So I'll lay in bed. I'll just sit in my living room, and I'm thinking about it, thinking about it, and then all of a sudden slices from one place come in or something like that, and suddenly there's links that make it really creative. And I just absolutely trust my muse that's click's going to come. And that's when I know that it's worth really working on. So then I work on it because it fits. It sinks. And then when I get it and I know it's absolutely perfect, then I show it to people really intelligent who can look at it and say something and say, no, I don't think you look at this, get over with this, everything else. And people that I highly respect, then I've got to make it better. So then I make it better. And then once I feel like it's really good, then the third thing is perform beyond expectations. Give it to the point where it really pops in terms of creativity.
Very interesting. And I'm going to read you all what I was just telling Julie about. David Byrne, who was the front man from the rock group Talking Heads, musician David Byrne, was on a podcast called How Ideas Happen, hosted by Stephen Johnson, a writer. And here's what David Byrne said, and I think you'll all appreciate this. Sometimes I have just the title of a song that comes to me, and I write it down. And I go to myself, expand on that. I think there's something there. I also have in my computer a whole lot of musical ideas that maybe have a melody, a nonsense word melody, waiting for words. But usually I need something to start with. It's hard to start from nothing. I'll accumulate, here we go, Julie. I'll accumulate these very little beginnings. And when I come back, I've got something to build on. And then there's one more part of this. He said, or Stephen Johnson, this was part of what I copied out of the transcript. Our minds fizz with fragments of ideas, puzzles to ponder, clues on how to fix a problem, right, Jim? Most of us undervalue that chatter. Writers and artists systematically capture the little beginnings. And he says he goes back to these fragments and he gives himself time and he says, now do something with it. What do you think? Jim, does that resonate with you too?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Isn't that cool, Julie?
It's interesting because puzzles, he talks about puzzles. And I see every idea I have comes to me in their puzzle pieces. And I do a ton of puzzles when I get really overwhelmed. I sit on my iPad and I'll do puzzles to help organize my thoughts.
What kind of puzzles? What do you do?
I love food puzzles. Don't ask me why, but maybe because my cafe. So like I'll do, like they'll have beautiful glasses of drinks and baked goods and what have you. And so I like to do food puzzles, and it's mindless, but it like organizes my thoughts.
Interesting. I play Wordle, Strands, Connections, and the New York Times Mini every night, and I share the scores with about 6 different friends. And I have friends who can do the mini in 38 seconds. My best time was 36 seconds, but I'm running about a minute 12 now. It's terrible. A minute 12. I mean, laggard me. What I wanted, and I also do Words with Friends, and I have a woman named Lynn, initial B. I don't know who she is. She's somewhere in the UK, and I'm playing 25 games with her. And I have somebody called Maddie the Great. I have no idea who she is. And I have 2 other people, and I'm playing about 50 games.
To have them on your show.
I don't know who they
you
are.
It's okay. You do a Wordle show with them and how you connected.
That would be very, very funny. So some nights I have 35 to 50 Words with Friends waiting. I go to bed, put my blankets around me, prop myself up on the pillow, put the iPad on the tummy, and then I call this just getting everything out of my brain, out of my mind, having fun, getting the words, playing along, finishing that part of the game, and then I'm ready for sleep. That's my sleeping pill. I don't do meds. That's my calm. And people say, "How can you do that? Doesn't get." No, it just
No.
brings it all down. It's lovely. Thank you for the idea. I hope you enjoyed the quote, by the way. That was really cool. And by the way, Julie, I have a problem because when I go to bed at 10:30 or 11, I'm awake. I've been awake since 3 o'clock this morning, and I
Yeah,
didn't want to
that's
come in my office and work. So what I did was I watched some reels on Facebook, but I discovered a woman named Cheryl with a C Benton, who started a newsletter. You may know about this, Julie. I don't think Carol would. Maybe, called The Three Tomatoes, spelled out THREE. It was for women who aren't kids anymore, women over 40. And they started it on Long Island, New York. And I had Cheryl and her daughter, Ronnie Jenkins, on my TV show, Something to Talk About, which was Long Island Cable TV. I did it for about 20 years. And I went to some of their events in Manhattan and on Long Island. She started her own press, her own publishing company. And I'm almost done with my novella and I'm looking for a way to publish it. And I said, that's where I want to be. A woman, she's got about 40 authors who she's published already. She's got a package. It's not cheap, but it's not outrageous. She provides the services, and I'm going to contact her tonight or tomorrow and say, remember me, Cheryl, you and your daughter were on my TV show. I'd love for you to represent my book. So I'm going to see about that. But that's what I did at around 4 in the morning before the
how
Times came out and I could read the news, which I don't want to read anyway. My kids say, stop reading the news at 4 o'clock in the morning, Mom. I found her website. I found her price list. I found everything. I said, oh my God, I've been looking for a publisher. This may be what I was meant to do. But the problem is if I go to bed at 10:30 or 11, I'm awake in the middle of the night, 4 or 5 in the morning. And I don't need to
me-
be up until 7:30. So it's like giving a kid a nap and then they don't sleep all night. Carol,
right.
you all, yeah, I know, but I'm that kid. Okay, enough about me. Jim, I'm looking at your creativity statements here. We got a little bit of time, about 10
Right.
minutes. Jim says, I'm most creative at night when I'm sitting in my recliner just thinking about a specific issue that is tickling me. And then you add, I like to have a low volume level, calming, meditative music in the background. Does Carol like the music you play? Don't answer that, Carol. Jim, I can't put you on speaker view. I'm putting both of you. This is Jim's turn. Jim, talk to me about the recliner and the music. I want to know. Go ahead, Jim.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's on there, and I do it all day long when I'm writing too. When I'm working in here, because I'm not only doing writing of the book, but the articles and the news memos to people, creating opportunities for us to go in and give our presentation. So I'm always doing that kind of thing, and I put calm music on, and I found out it makes a huge difference for me. By the end of the day, I'm not chewing myself out because I'm not doing this part or that part or anything. It's just cool, keep it cool, keep it cool. And if Carol's there, she likes the music that I play too. And when what happens when I get in bed is I got all these problems I got to solve, and I used to work on them and I would not go to sleep. So what I find now is if I'm doing that, I have to turn the volume of my music up much, much higher so I'm not able to think anymore, and I go to sleep, and it works. Good sleep.
Interesting. Well, since I've got Carol on the screen with Jim, Carol, what do you think? And I know you like a different kind of music. We're not going to talk about that yet because I've got one of your creativity statements about that. But what do you think about his recliner and his meditation music? Do you like it?
Oh, it's fine, but lots of times it's in the middle of the night, so I don't know. I'm asleep. He gets up in the middle of every night.
Well, she gotta say she sleeps around. She sleeps in her apartment too. I didn't mean to
Yeah.
say that.
I have
Well, yes, you did. Yes, yes, you. I never expected this kind of a show. I mean, she used the
This is
sex word
amazing.
once already, and we're talking dating here over what? Never mind. Don't mention age. Julie, do you listen to music when you write? Rescue me, Julie, please. Go ahead.
I know usually when I'm creating, everything is quiet. I do have a dance party with myself every morning. And I do listen to a certain prayer by Lucas Mack every morning that a friend actually from the National Public Summit had sent to me. I listen to
Okay.
that every morning and I have a little dance party with myself and all these ideas come in. But when I actually sit down to create and write and put things on paper, silence. I like to listen to all of my imaginary friends that talk to me. They're not
Mhm.
imaginary to me, but like all my guides talk to me. And so I like to be able to hear nature and hear the eagles outside and listen to the trees tell me little ideas and give me some good motivation
Nice.
So it's quiet.
I'm going to just interject here in a minute before I go to Carol's statements. About 10 years ago, I wanted to write a romantic comedy play, and I had no idea how to write a play. So I went on the internet. Well, where else would I go? And I said, Playwriting 101, and something popped up, and it was a free download, and it was a Word document. It told me what typeface to use, and how the spacing goes, and how do you describe the scene, and how do you define your characters, and how do you curtain up and curtain down, and what's happening. I had a full-time job. I wrote the play, the first one. I've done four. The first play, no, I've done three. One went on twice. And I did the first play from 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the morning for 3 nights in a row, and I was done. I had the play. You know why? You talk about listening to the little critters, Julie? My characters. They were right here. And Carol and Jim, my characters met on a dating site that used numbers instead of names. And they met in front of Penn Station, New York, and we got a green screen. And my three community actors who were friends of mine performed it in my TV studio. And I'll send you all the link. It's on my
I would
Vimeo
love
channel.
to see that.
And we had them, and I had a visual, a green screen visual of a van with the door open, with them getting in and them standing in front of Penn Station. And we did the audio of all the cars and buses and everything in New York. And they're sitting in an empty studio with a green curtain behind them. And I said, listen, you're all performing in other shows on Long Island. These were community theater actors. So I said, I'll put teleprompters and you don't have to memorize a thing. It was so much fun. We did two versions, and I changed the ending. But Carol and Jim, they had to wear Groucho noses and fake glasses with the Groucho nose and everything. And that's how they met. And Carol would have said, I'm W392 4-point Peppy. Hello. Are you? And he said, yes, I'm Truck Bob 93. No, forget the name. I'm 2W3.97 TR me. And she'd say, well, you're the one I was going to meet. Then they get in the cab and they take the glasses off. That's how the play starts. So, but it came
So
to
cute.
me. It just came to me. And I wrote two more plays the same way. But sometimes that middle of the night is wonderful. Carol, let me get this in. We got plenty of time, 6 minutes. That's like the world here. Carol says she is a colored pencil painter and she likes creating while listening to, wait for it, Baroque music. Okay, now I have to ask, does Jim like the Baroque music or don't you play it for him, Carol?
The question is what?
The Baroque music. You listen to Baroque music.
Oh.
Do you do it around the house when Jim is there, or do you do it privately?
No, not when Jim's there. No. No, this is in my apartment when I write. There's something about Baroque that is ordered and calm, smooth. Vivaldi. Yeah. Love it.
Okay, and tell me about being a colored pencil painter. What does that mean? What do you do? Colored pencils? You
Yeah.
paint, draw?
Yeah,
What do you do?
Well, it's like colored pencils, but it's not your grade school colored pencils. They're professional grade colored pencils that you can blend them. And so when you're doing I call it a painting because it's not, something from a color book. You lay down many layers of different colors over each other and mix the colors that way. So the paper is rough and you are laying the colors down. And when you have maybe 6 or 7 layers of blues and yellows, and you come up with different greens and, in the end, you burnish it, which means you essentially crush the tooth of the paper. The tooth of the paper is the roughness of it. If you imagine microscopic
Mm-hmm.
sticking up. And so you're crushing the tooth of the paper so that all those layers of color that you lay down merge and create a depth of color and so forth. That
Are these
it's all
wet
painting.
pencils? Are these wet pencils or dry, Carol? Wet pencils or
They
dry?
come both. I use dry.
Interesting. I've never heard
I
of
use
that before.
Prismacolor.
Thank you.
I use
Interesting.
Prismacolor. There are other very good ones. Yeah.
She showed them
Julie?
in museums and here in Western.
Jim, do
Yeah.
you
I've sold a few.
Yeah.
do you use the colors also, Jim? Do you paint or draw like Carol does?
No, not at all.
No, you don't. Julie, do you paint or draw? Carol disappeared. Julie, do you paint or draw?
I don't.
Okay.
But I love it. My kids do. My daughter's an artist. She went to art school.
Very nice. I stopped at 300 paintings in my house, and you should have seen when I moved from Durham to
300.
Tennessee.
Whoa.
I have about 300. I paint
Wow.
usually 5 or 6 in a weekend. Carol's going to show us something. Carol, hold it up right underneath your chin. Oh, no, wait a minute. We don't want you to disappear. I think we're going to give it to, there we go. There we go. Hold, tip it down. Tip it. That's it. That's it. That's it. It's gorgeous. Do you have a name for that?
Wow.
Beautiful.
It's a triptych.
Give it to Jim. Let Jim hold it. I think he can get it for us better in front of his shirt. Jim, hold it right in front, underneath your chin if you can. See, we're losing you on no. The background is showing up. We saw enough, I think. Julie, you saw it, right?
Yes, it was
It's
beautiful.
beautiful. Yep. Okay, Carol, try one more time. There we go, Jim. All right, tip it down. That's it. Tip it forward. Little bits and pieces. Jim's gone too. Okay. All right, put the painting. Carol, it's gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you. That's because you have a virtual background and you don't have green screen, so it's swallowing up the picture. But we saw. I have a couple things to read to you, and then we have to go. And I'd like you all to stick around because I want to talk afterwards. If you have a few minutes, okay? So just quickly, a couple of quotes for you. This is from Lucy Maud Montgomery, who wrote Anne of Green Gables back in 1908, the Canadian novelist. And chapter 19 is entitled, you're going to love this, it's titled A Concert, a Catastrophe, and a Confession. How about that for a chapter? Is that a cool
That's
name?
amazing.
And here is the quote I love. I read this every week on the show. Something just flashes into your mind, so exciting, and you must out with it. If you stop to think it over, you spoil it all. Interesting. Isn't that good? And then here's one from Glinda, the Good Witch of the North. By the way, The Wizard of Oz debuted today in 1939 at the Loew's Capitol Theater, I think, in New York City after it had a Hollywood debut in 1930. Oh, something just crashed outside. We are getting a storm. Here's the quote. You had the power all along, my dear. And I think that applies to all of us. And let me now read you one of my poems I write with a poetry group online. Every week we get a prompt every Wednesday. And during April and November, we get a prompt a day. And I usually write 3 to 5 poems. I have about 795 poems so far. And we share our poems on the website, and I can send you all the link, and then we comment. And it's a lovely community of poets. So here is one of my acrostics. This is from July 24th, 2024. And the prompt from the moderator was night shift. Nightshshift. And I wrote a poem where each of those letters is highlighted in a different part of the poem. And I'll nod when I get to the letters. Here we go. This is dedicated to the 3 of you. Never quite really at rest. It's the life of a creative. Going, gripping, gyrating, growling, groaning, growing, highs and lows. Flowing on a mental Mobius strip. The days are the nights are the days again. Shifting. Off and on, into and out of gear, hoping for unique brilliance even once. It's a calling, command, curse, roller coaster, finding eureka, euphoria amid frustration, fears. Thus is the life of the creative. I hope you enjoyed that. Is that
Loved
cool? And I
that.
have one, because Carol is
Amazing.
laughing, I'm going to read you one. This was the prompt was write a blank like blank something, meaning fill in the blanks. Well, I liked blank like blank. So this is BLANKLIKE. Here we go. Believe in love always. Never kiss a leprechaun in a kayak. Every boat's like a nervous kangaroo. There you go. That's a straight acrostic. Okay, in 2014, I closed my show with the top 10 tips for women, and you don't have to listen to this, Jim, but the top 10, number 1 was aspire to be Barbie. The biatch has everything. That was 10 years before the movie. Even Jim liked it. And here's the final closing, and then I'll play the music, and we'll stay and talk. Here we go. Work like you don't need them. Oh, I'm sorry. Life is short. Break the rules. I'm good at that. Forgive quickly. I still haven't figured that one out. Kiss slowly. I think Carol can talk to us about that. Love truly. Laugh uncontrollably. Everybody laugh with me. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was good. Don't hurt yourself. And never, ever regret anything that made you smile. Here we go. Final words. Work it like you don't need the money. Dance like no one's watching. Sing like nobody's listening. Love like you've never been hurt. We all have. Let your heart regrow, regroup, regenerate, love again. Money talks, chocolate sings, la. And last but not least, I stole this line from somebody years ago. Thank you for turning me on. Here we go. Dance our way out. they're dancing. Look at this. I love it. I taught dance for years. Hundreds and hundreds of people. That's me. I'm glowing, Julie. I'm glowing. Let's go.
Love it.
What sparks your fire?
We got to do one of these.
You're in. Oh.
Back again.